Do you want to tell, or should I tell how we met?
You tell it because I like to hear it from your and see your teeth while you're telling it.
From the what's the name of that club?
Side Splitters.
Side Splitters in Knoxville, Tennessee. And
Next to the Quiznos.
Yeah, and the Mouse's Ear.
Was the Mouse's Ear over there?
I think so. Was
no, the Mouse's Ear was over on the West End.
That's the name of the club. The strip club.
Mouse's Ear. Is that not nasty?
Yeah,
Think about a little mouse's ear. That's why.
Why is it called that?
Something to do with a woman's parts. Think about it. I
think somebody made a joke about it. Would you have talked about that or no?
I have.
In Knoxville.
Mentioned.
Yeah, at the show.
The Mouse's Ear.
Well, I think what happened was because I was clean. And would you have requested a clean opener?
Yes.
You would have.
Yes.
And you said, I need somebody clean.
Yes.
Would you request a guy or no?
No. Not probably. No, my manager would always say she needs somebody clean.
Somebody clean. Yeah. So I think, I was like trying to be, just work. I don't, and I probably lived in LA or Denver at the time. And I was trying to there was a Tampa Side Splitters.
Yeah.
And they put me with you. And we had, who else was on it? What's his name?
Was it Trey Crowder?
I think so. That's a wild lineup.
Is that not crazy? And he had a blazer on?
Yeah. I think it was us three. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was, I swear, every time I ever played Side Splitters, there was a grease fire, and the fire trucks would come.
It was right in the corner. The stage is right in the corner.
It was right in the corner. And see, they wouldn't book me in the Tampa one. That little man, Bobby,
he wouldn't put it down. He wouldn't put you down. He's like, you can sell okay in Knoxville, but let's keep you. Really?
And when I couldn't get arrested, nobody cared.
Yeah.
They would talk him into booking me, and he usually booked me on like a football Saturday that nobody else wanted to work.
Yeah.
Or Mother's Day. I'm your Mother's Day girl.
Oh, big Mother's Day crowd. Big Mother's Day energy.
The first time he ever booked me, he did a door deal because he didn't know anything about me, and I sold out. Which I only did Knoxville. I only did Knoxville. Couldn't get arrested anywhere else.
Yeah.
And he said to my manager, all those Christian people came in and drank all the Diet Coke, and I'll never have her back. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
I go, I'm sure I have sweet belief in people, but they're just sweet and they're not going to fight in the parking lot and get drunk.
They're drinking a lot of Diet Coke.
But anyway, you were probably,
man, it was probably 10 years ago. No, 8 years ago, maybe. Might have been 10.
And
really? We know each other that long.
And I was so tickled with you.
Yeah, I remember. Not that, but I remember. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, I had
you were
ball.
like, do you remember what? I'll never forget this. You said to me, you go, and you were. How long have you been doing stand up at that point?
20. Well, that point, I don't know because 22
such a
years
long
now.
Time. How long?
22 years now.
All right, so you've been in and you said because I must have been. If Trey was featuring, I must have been hosting, which is wild that
you were featuring.
I was. All right, then it wasn't Trey then.
Yeah, you featured for me.
Okay, yeah, So, but you told me we were out in the lobby, and I feel like me and you, a lot of comics are maybe not very like. You don't want to meet them in real life. You know, like a lot of comics, you go, oh, I want to meet him. I go, no, you don't want to meet this guy. You know, like a lot of comics, they're like awkward and like nerdy kind of, and just in their own. What is going on? But we were you were doing a meet and greet, and I came out there, and I go, well, I guess I'll meet everybody, and and then you said I see a lot of people looking for me, and I wish I could tell a lot of people to quit, and you should keep doing it. That's what you told me. Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'll take it. You said you should keep doing it.
And I meant it.
Yeah, you said I think a lot of people that are opening should quit, and I think you should keep doing it. Yeah.
And I know, and I've never wanted to squash anybody's dreams, but there's a lot of people that should quit. You know, that are getting their toes are getting cut off because they don't have health insurance. They've got diabetes, and they're like, "This is my dream," and I'm like, "Maybe you need to."
Well, and that's wild coming from you.
I'm a mother.
Well, but you like, if we always say this all the time, and like comedy is like if you were working in sales at a company and you were 10 years in and never made a sale, they would be like, "Hey, sales is not for you." Or they would say that a year in.
Yeah.
They would say that a year in. Or be like, hey, this is not. But in comedy, for some reason, or I think it's maybe just art in general, you can't tell somebody to quit, I don't think.
Yeah.
But we should.
Yeah. And little Karen Mills will always say, Leanne, you can't squash people's dreams. And I'm like, I know, but you know, that's
behind
not
their
going
backs,
anywhere.
in the Christian way, behind their backs. Yeah. Obviously, you get it. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of, because my show has like there are Christian references in my show. And then I feel like if somebody just came off the street that liked one of my football videos or Disney video, they'd be like, maybe some of them were too deep into Christianity. And they'd be like, wait, what was that one? And that's how there's a one or two in yours that are about like older women things that I go, wait, like the girdle. I go, what is that? Or I remember your show. I was with Maggie when we watched your show at the Ryman, and there was something about a crossbody.
Crossbody pocketbook. All those women carrying those crossbody purses with a sensible wedge.
Like a
she shows the sensible
like a
crossbody purse. Yeah,
but
because you don't want to carry it and get tendinitis.
Yeah,
we have a big old pocketbook, which I do.
Okay, so the purse that comes down here, that's the bigger one.
Or it crosses on your body, so you can just put your phone in it and a lipstick.
That's a crossbody.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt your neck.
Yeah.
All those women bring those to my shows, and if they are so tickled they throw them up in the air, then I know I've got something. Yeah. Throw their crossbody up in the air.
When you started, because I kind of started in my church doing the announcements with my dad around church. I was always up on the stage, and is that where the selling at the home? What is it, selling jewelry?
Yes,
And you were funny.
Yeah.
Did people come over? That's like it's a lot of comics have this like thing that wasn't really stand up, but it was kind of like a stage or a little bit of a like a lot of people were in radio or
and I feel guilty because think about it. I was in women's living rooms that were my demographic. Think about it, how easy I had it.
You got up on the front?
In somebody's living room, we'd put out all that jewelry. I'd schlep that big jewelry case around in East Tennessee.
What's the name of what company?
Premier Designs, Christian.
Yeah, really?
And they went out during the COVID. They were in business for 30 years, and they were sweet. It was sweet. Yeah. It was not a Lulu Rowe kind of situation. I don't know if you've seen that documentary on Netflix. But I would put all that jewelry out.
Locally.
Yeah, in East Tennessee when I was living up in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains when Chuck had a used mobile home business.
Yeah, oh yeah. Wait,
but before he went to work for the big company.
How would you get people there? Word of mouth?
Word of mouth, honey. I was killing. No, I had one party where I sweat bullets and I was freaked out, and the company says if you want to sell
That's your first open mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my first open mic was in San Antonio at the River Center at the mall, but the official one. But years earlier, so the jewelry company said, how you do this is you invite all your friends, so all my friends from Sunday school and Mom's Day Out and all that. And I put out the jewelry and I made a dip and some brownies, and I did my spiel. They said you got to come up with your spiel on how a clip earring can change the look of a pump. And I had this big spiel.
What's a pump?
A shoe.
Okay, a pump is a shoe.
And a high heel.
Yeah. A pump. Okay.
And so out of the goodness of their heart, they all booked a party for me to then do with their friends. Well, then, and I probably wasn't funny that first time because I was freaked out and I had a bunch of babies.
You were the headliner. Yeah.
So then I go and do these for theirs, and then it grows and it grows.
Yeah.
But I got to where I was talking about breastfeeding and hemorrhoids, and I kind of had a set, like a good tight, 15, 20.
Yeah.
And then
I had a tight 15.
Yeah. And then women were laughing so much that then they booked me. I was booking like a year in advance. And I remember saying, and the company noticed, and they started asking me to speak at their big things.
Big ones. Yeah. Come to the one in the arena.
Okay. And let me tell you this before you're going to remember this name. But okay. So one night a woman peed on a couch because she was laughing so hard. And that was a God moment for me.
Better.
And I thought, I've got it. I know I can make it. And before Chuck and I married, we went out to LA to visit my sister. She was working out there. Yeah. And I said, I want to go to the comedy store. Okay. And I went to the comedy store and my heart was beating out of my body. And
just a crowd member.
Yes. And Dom Herrera was there, Paul Mooney. And I thought, I'm supposed to be doing this. This is it. So anyway.
And you had never done stand-up? Or like not in a club or anything? Yeah, just
fast forward. I'm pregnant with my first baby.
That's wild.
I'm doing this, schlepping this jewelry around.
Was it making money or no? You didn't care. You just wanted to be funny.
I mean, a little bit, a couple of $100 a night or whatever.
But if you killed, you were like, yeah.
Well, they would all book parties with me, and then I'd have more work to do. But anyway, the company noticed and asked me to speak. And you remember Dennis Swanberg, a Christian comedian?
Yeah.
Came up to me after I was supposed to be talking about how to get booked. I wasn't supposed to be doing comedy.
Get booked for the jewelry business.
Right. And I breastfed Maggie, Maggie, my middle child. I breastfed her in the toilet at Opryland Hotel, handed her over to my mama, went up on stage, and I was talking about breastfeeding and hemorrhoids and not jewelry. And Dennis Swanberg came up to me afterwards and said, "You can make it in stand-up comedy. You need to do it." And he wrote me a letter. I said that on a podcast with somebody. And he wrote me a letter, and somebody got it to me in Austin when I was at Moon Tower. Yeah. And he said, "I'm so proud of you, and thank you for saying that, and that I encouraged you." He said, "That meant a lot to me." Is that not sweet?
That's how old this guy is. He wrote you a letter? And he's like, somebody get it to her. Like, he's like, I don't know.
Like Pony Express.
He's like, somebody get it to her.
But I remember during those, I know that now that you say that. Yeah. All right. But I remember saying to these women, because I knew in my head, I'm going to be a stand-up and I'm going to be famous. Yeah. Because I remember saying to them at this jewelry show, y'all can book a party with me now, or you can see me in Vegas later. It's up to y'all. I would say that to them.
That's so confident.
How arrogant is that?
That is so confident. Yeah.
But I knew it in my heart. I played basketball and volleyball and softball. They made me play softball. I didn't want to. Yeah. I didn't want to. I didn't want a ball to hit me hard, you know? And we had and I played, we were so rural, and it was sweet, very sweet. But there was a girl on my team she was an unbelievable athlete, and she had 2 babies while we were in high school, and they let her play. She'd be big pregnant, going down the floor.
In what?
Basketball. They wouldn't let her play softball in the late term because they didn't want a ball to hit her.
Yeah.
She played volleyball. She'd come and just slam it down. Pregnant, big pregnant. And I remember us playing private schools and them in Nashville, like
private
Harpeth Hall, and them going, what the? And I'd be like, what are they? Mary's had she's always pregnant. Yeah. What are they talking about?
She does this. Why are you surprised by this?
This isn't even her first go.
And then when I went to basketball camp in Waverly, they put us in the math room on cots, and Mary told us how somebody said, "What's it like having a baby?" And I was 14. I'd never been away from home, and she told us what they do to you in the hospital to prep you and all that to have a baby. And I don't know how I made it through that week. I mean, I was traumatized.
What do you mean they put you on cots?
We were on cots.
For what? For what now?
Playing basketball camp.
Okay. Oh, basketball camp. Oh, it's not like camp. I thought it was like sex ed or something.
Did you say math room or bathroom?
Math room.
She's in the bathroom. That's where you sleep. Because basketball camp. I got it. Yeah,
it was like we were in war, really. And then she said, "I'll show you." And she put her legs up like they were in stirrups and told us it was horrible. Well, little Morgan Wallen, that angel. We were, I was in Dancing with the Stars and got a hernia. And East Tennessee Children's Hospital.
Hey,
Knoxville.
Hey, don't talk it down. Okay, Dancing with the Stars, Knoxville is still a big deal.
It was for Children's Hospital. Yeah. It was stressful. It was so I had to beg for money during the day and then dance at night.
Sponsorships, yep.
And I got a hernia. It came out. They couldn't push it back in. And so I had to get my girls to dance for me. But anyway, and I came out in a wheelchair to Proud Mary Keep on Turning. But anyway, Morgan Wallen had been on The Voice. I didn't even watch The Voice. I didn't even know. And then the next year.
Not The Voice Knoxville. The Voice.
The Voice.
The big voice. Okay, yeah. What year was this?
Lord, you were how?
2012. Okay, yeah.
Okay, and so was it the year after they asked me to judge, or was it 2 or 3 years after they asked me to judge? I know I judged him. Okay, and Kane, the big wrestler, who's our mayor.
Morgan Wallen and Kane. Kane's the mayor?
Kane's our mayor.
And his waist is this big. And he's got to be 6'7". It's unbelievable. Wow. All right, anyway, year or two after they said, can you come back and judge? And I went, okay. And you know who I judged with? You know the guy that's in every movie? It's a character actor, and he was in Blind Side. Is that what Blind Side? And he's the redneck in the
I don't know what you're talking about, but I can see his face.
He's from Maryville, Tennessee, and he judged with me. Anyway.
Okay.
So little Morgan Wallen danced, and I danced in Dancing with the Stars in Knoxville.
Oh, okay. I got it. I Danced with the Stars. Okay. Yep.
But did I perform with him at the local thing in Knoxville the year before that? Because I think I did. Okay. Going back. Sorry, y'all. I can't think of time.
Into it. Yeah.
All right. Halloran and Phil are 2 radio guys in Knoxville that I love and have been so good to me. Well, they had this thing and they give money away, but they have a show and people come from Pigeon Forge and do magic and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, one year they had Chris Blue. He had won The Voice. He
Okay.
came in with sunglasses on like Michael Jackson. Dancers, all that. And I was sitting in the back. They always got me to do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would sit back there and eat cheese. Anyway, the next year, Morgan Wallen is in it with me. And little Morgan Wallen was, I think, still mowing. Like still
grass?
mowing. It
For
had
his
mowing
job?
equipment. Yes. And we were sitting back there and I was eating cheese again. And
Yeah.
we were talking and he was so sweet. And
Yeah.
he said, yeah, I mean, I'm mowing and I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't think he had started going back and forth to Nashville yet. And I remember thinking.
This was not that long ago. I mean, this was 5 years ago. 6,
Would it have
7?
been more than that? Maybe,
10?
I don't know.
About 10 years ago.
Well,
Okay,
but he asked me, he started following me on Instagram and he saw Maggie.
Hey,
And then-
Morgan Wallen started following you on Instagram after that night.
Yeah,
And
but I
then-
mean, he probably had 500 people and I probably had 200 people. Anyway,
Yes.
and I remember he sang and I thought he was so cute and darling. And he was so
Yeah.
cute backstage. And I said, I want to make you a casserole and you're
Mhm.
an angel and all of that. And I thought, what a cute kid. And then I thought, oh, this music business. And, I'm kind of cynical. I thought,
Yeah.
honey,
You
don't
told
waste
Morgan
your
Wallen to
time in
quit.
this.
You should quit. You go, hey, it's not
Yeah,
quit.
you don't want to get up in
Hey,
that and all
It's
that.
like, yeah.
And then he and Maggie went on a couple of days. He
Your
asked
daughter.
Maggie out, my middle
Yeah.
child.
How did that happen? Do you remember?
I guess he direct messaged her. When he first started following me, he saw her. He direct messaged her.
He's like, hey, I just did a show with your mom.
Yeah, I did a show with your mama.
That'll happen.
But I was,
That'll
I mean,
happen.
I could
Yeah.
not get arrested. Nobody cared. I was over
Yeah.
there doing 10 minutes. They,
Yeah.
and so anyway, we met that time. And then I judged him in the Dancing with the Stars. And
Okay.
and I love Children's Hospital, but I thought, oh Lord, things are not going well for him. Because I've been here. I've been here. I've got a hernia. I had, it was a big deal for me to get
I'm
to
still here.
dance,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. And I just thought, I've been in that Knoxville where
Yeah.
you just, and I thought,
You just kind
bless
of
his
hometown.
heart.
You just kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And then next
And this
thing
was,
I know.
was he? Did him and Maggie not work out at that point, or was that still going? And then you said, "Hey, Maggie, this guy is not."
No,
You
it
didn't.
was,
You-
no.
We loved him.
Well, I never even saw him. They would meet for coffee or something. It wasn't a big.
Chipotle. Yo, if you can't hear that, she just said they would go to the Chipotle on the strip. Let's
Yeah,
go.
in Knoxville.
I make that move before. I made
For
that
sure.
move before. I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect
Maggie was
that.
at UT.
Maggie was at UT.
And she thought he was darling, but I
Yeah.
think he had a lot of girlfriends over in Powell,
No.
where he's
over
from,
in
and they
what?
were Powell,
What is that? How do you spell it?
Gibbs. He went to Gibbs High School, Powell, Powell, which
Oh,
has got
Powell. Okay, yeah.
Powell, which has got beautiful girls, but they're dramatic. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
somebody was maybe keying his car. And I mean, my kids, Maggie was like, that's a lot. And I don't know.
Oh, they key her car.
Girls fighting in a yard.
Powell, oh, yeah.
My kids don't fight in the
No,
yard.
we don't. No, in the house.
But anyway.
we keep them in the house fighting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but so Maggie thought he was darling and all that. But anyway, that just kind of fizzled.
Yeah. that
And
happens.
then I would see something that Morgan was doing, like had written a Jason Aldean song or something. I was like, oh my gosh, and I thought I felt good for him because I thought, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he's legit. He's not
Yeah.
going to just be singing like watermelon, and the alligator on the street and
Oh,
a
yeah.
do and a beer in a truck and all that.
I think that's one of his hits.
That's a good one. Yeah.
He has 30 songs on his
There's
album. That's got to be it.
And I'm not blowing smoke up that little thing's butt, but there's something different about him.
Yep.
There is, I mean,
Yep.
of course now he's blown up and he's like Elvis, but I thought it's different.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like everybody.
Yeah.
And then when he was writing for people, I thought that little thing's gonna make it.
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
All
yeah.
this. So he just made
I
a
think
video.
he's made it. I think yeah.
Safe
I
to
would
say,
say.
yeah.
I would say he's made it.
Because
yeah.
I did his wife's podcast and I haven't
Oh,
done
yeah.
Bert's yet.
Yeah.
But Leanne said, oh, he just cries all the time.
Really?
She said she goes, I'm like the man, he's like the
Oh
woman.
yeah. I bet my girlfriend would probably say that about me. Yeah, I cry a lot. Yeah.
Sweet. My little daddy cries
Yeah.
a lot. My mom was just like, oh.
Really?
She was at Vanderbilt,
Chuck-
had a stroke, had
Really?
a thing in her mouth. And my dad was telling every nurse, we've been in love since we were 19 and 21. I love her. And we watch movies. And my mom was that tube in her mouth was going.
She's on a ventilator.
Can you? That's hilarious. He's like, yeah, enough. We got it.
And I would call and say something, I'd made an A on a test or whatever from UT or whatever. And I would be telling my dad, and I wouldn't hear anything. I'd go, Daddy, and Mom would pick up the phone. She goes, your daddy went to the bathroom to cry. She said, what are you doing? Have you eaten supper?
I feel better about myself now. Yeah. And Chuck Morgan, not a tear from that guy. Twice?
At Charlie's wedding.
Charlie's wedding. And when the dog died.
Maybe Puddin', when little Puddin' died.
Yeah. You weren't there for their wedding, but when she walked down the aisle.
No, I'm sure you're one tear. He loves my mother, don't get me wrong. He loves but Chuck is not fun.
Yeah. He's all business.
He is emotional, though.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, I know him. Let me ask you this. He
just doesn't cry.
Has he embraced his role as you describe him? Does he try to, because my mother, sometimes I say, and she's like, it didn't happen like that. Or does he goes, I understand Leanne's doing a thing, and he'll just allow it.
Yeah, but he'll drink a beer and start talking about it out loud.
Yeah, he goes, hey, enough about this bit. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
But he knows that this is true. He knows that it is true.
Well, it's exaggerated, though. Yeah. That is hilarious.
I mean, he's very introvert. Like if
you got a
Clayton,
couple beers, loosen him up a little bit.
They test all of us, our personalities. These women that are married to these men that sell mobile homes.
Yeah.
Men that sell mobile homes and are successful are very domineering, anal retentive.
You have to be.
They're married to women who are docile, fertile.
Yeah. How is that a personality trait? How's fertile a personality
We all have
trait?
a bunch of kids. We're willing to, do what we got to do for them to get promoted.
Yeah.
But being tested, he is like the furthest you can be introverted.
Okay,
he does not. He thinks everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
He's very efficient. He's very academic. He's very smart. He's been, working since he was 14.
After the Ryman show, we went to that hotel. Or there was a meet and greet or something. Wasn't there on the rooftop?
Oh, the party.
And he was like, we got to wrap this up. Yeah, he's like, Yes, he was already he came to the show and that was enough. Yeah.
He sold T-shirts for me that night.
Did he?
He goes, these people are idiots. I'm selling the merch.
This guy rules. Everyone here is stupid.
And he sold, let me tell y'all though, he sold $12,000 worth of merchandise and we donated it to East Tennessee Children's Hospital. That was his idea, not mine. I'm okay with it. But he said, these people are not going to be able to sell this. Let me do it. And he put a big women's trucker hat on and got in there and sold it.
It was still on his conscience from the Dance with Stars when you had to cancel. Same company.
I didn't cancel. I rolled out in a wheelchair and primary keep on turning.
And what's the story about what's the pontoon boat story? You wanted one.
I want a pontoon because my grandbaby, I don't want him to get sun damage.
You know what? Makes sense. And Brian Dorfman told you what? He said,
my husband drank 2 beers at the Graduate Hotel on the roof and said, she wants to buy a pontoon and she just throws money. And Brian Dorfman goes, Chuck, she's going to be able to buy 5 pontoons.
Yes, that's an unbelievable story.
I mean, yeah, sure, it was a little weird, but on the net, it was a positive. It was a positive. You cannot be serious. On the net, it's a positive.